This video will provide a tutorial for the use of the Navigator Gamma Prep system with the upgraded wireless software. It will address the use of the devices and troubleshooting this. If your probe arrives sterilized from SPD, you need to make sure the cap is completely closed, then shake it to wake. You will see a slow light flashing, indicating it's looking for a control unit to pair. Okay, so the first difference you'll notice here is what she described as a slow flashing. Essentially, it's once a second. And what that LED behavior indicates is that the probe is in an unpaired state. And that's a difference between the previous system and this system. The previous system was connectionless, meaning any probe could talk to any controller. With the new system, they're a paired system. So the probe and controller will go through this pairing process. And what you'll see is the LED will go to a different state. It'll go solid when the probe is paired with the controller. The latest version will also show some numbers just to indicate which wireless channel it's selected. So you get a good visual feedback that and audible feedback that the system is paired. Any questions on that?
I think we're good to proceed.
Okay. In the user manual, just so you know where to look, there's a table 5A1 that describes the 4 states the LED can be in. So that's a difference between the previous user manual and this upgraded version. So the slow flash once a second means it's in pairing mode. Okay, I'll proceed.
Yeah, I can have one question.
Yes.
Just is there some importance to start shaking the probe and then illuminating the Navigator control unit, or the other way around? It's the same, I suppose.
It's so the probe, if the probe is paired, meaning the LED is solid, then it will not go to a low power state. If it's unpaired and there's no inertia, no movement, the probe will go to a low power state and the LED will go blank. It'll go off. So when you pair it, typically we recommend wake the probe up if it has a battery, and it'll go to the pairing mode and power on the controller, and they'll the same way she's describing in the video. That's the recommended approach. And shake the probe again in order to pair. Once the probe is paired with the control unit and is ready. There's another aspect here that's maybe important to notice. Let me see if I can get to that point again. Oh, this number. So when the controller is powered up, if the isotope is on iodine 111, what we do is show the first 3 digits indicate the software version. So you have a way to check the software version in the field, and that's only occurs if you're on iodine 111. If you're on TC99 or some other isotope, then it only shows on iodine 111.
And that's only going to show the software version of the control unit. Is there any way to tell the software version of the probe?
So the probe will only pair with a compatible version of the controller. There's no display on the probe to show the version. So the only thing you'll know is that it's compatible, because if they're incompatible, it won't pair.
Okay.
In the manual, the software version is in section 4.9. So it's really 4.9, 4.10, and table 5A1 that are the changes. But I just want to make sure you understood the software version display when it's on iodine 111 at power up.
and you'll see it goes away. It shows it for roughly 5 seconds, and then it'll go away. It'll go back to zeros if there's no source.
Once the probe is paired with the control unit and is ready for use, a steady light will be shown. If you see a light blinking rapidly, it indicates your battery is low.
And what she means blinking rapidly is that's also in table 5A1. That's 5 times a second. So that indicates a low battery on the probe. And the probe, if they're connected, it'll also send a message to the controller to show an alarm that the probe battery is low. And that alarm is covered in this section, 4.10. It'll show basically the first 2 digits will be 55. The next 3 digits could be anything. And that's a design limitation of the hardware. But if the first 2 digits are 55 something, then that's an indication of a low probe battery. And we mentioned about the controller versions. So if there is a software version mismatch, the controller will show another alarm. It's 77 something. And then at the end, I'll go over this. Probably the most prevalent alarm you'll see with the wireless system in the field is this wireless communication alarm. And I'll save that for the end because that probably warrants a discussion. Okay, any questions on the low battery alarm or LED state? Okay, I'll move on.
Probe should not be used until the battery is replaced. If there's no light, this simply shake the probe to wake it up to reconnect it to the control. The Navigator upgraded software includes an alarm mode feature not available in the system. The error presents when the control unit displays all gates on the screen. The probe will begin slowly flashing, indicating it's looking for a connection. The error code means.
Okay, so what she just did is they were in a paired state, and the user asynchronously pulled the battery out of the probe. That the controller didn't expect that, so the controller has recognized that it's not receiving data from the probe, and it's raising an alarm to the user that something has happened that was unexpected. So if it's in a paired state, really the only way the controller should be powered on and off first, just because it's the master in the system. So if somebody asynchronously pulls the battery out, or if somebody covers the LED with their hand and attenuates a wireless signal, or there's potential interference and the controller doesn't see data like it expects, then the controller will go into alarm and flash the 88888. So there's different ways that you could get into that alarm mode, but essentially it boils down to the wireless communications is not as reliable as it's expected. Okay.
There's an unreliable connection during use. This can be caused by interference or the cap being removed during use. All you will need to do is reset the control unit. Wait for this to appear. Assist contact Dylan support 1-844 Dylan now. That's 1-844 DILONNAB. Another change from previous software is that the probe is paired with that unit specific for the procedure. This will minimize interference or crosstalk between another unit being used. Any probe can be paired with any Dylan Navigator system as long as they both have the upgraded software. If you want to see if your device has the upgraded software, simply power the unit off. Switch the isotope selection switch on the back to IN111. Then turn the control unit back on. If you see the first three numbers are 2, 5, 6, the unit has the upgraded software. Thank you so much for being a Dillon customer.
It could be 256, or it could be 260, or if we do another release, it could be 261. So it's going to be 26 something in the short term.
Okay.
Okay, so that's it for the video. There's really 3 sections in the user's manual that are relevant: 4.9, 4.10, and table 5A-1. And then architecturally, the system has went from a connectionless paradigm to a connection-based paradigm. So you know it's just a foundational way to address wireless packet reliability. Okay, any questions, comments?
Steve, do you listen to me?
Yes.
Yes, okay. My question is, in the previous version, I would be able to change the isotope in the wireless probe. Now it's possible with one probe to change, I don't know, from technetium to iodine, and the same wireless probe works with no sending to manufacturer?
Change, I'm sorry, I didn't catch. What do you want to change?
Yeah, in the previous wireless probe, if the probe is adjusted to technetium, I won't be able to detect with wireless probe iodine in Spain, for instance. You know, I have to resend to America to put the wireless probe to iodine. It's not a reaction to change the isotope in the back of the Navigator.
To get the upgrade, you have to do an RMA. There's no field upgrade for the system.
No. I don't speaking about field upgrade. I'm speaking about when I bought a wireless probe, a previous wireless probe, I be able to detect the isotope that you have adjust in your factory. This doesn't happen with wireless probe. With wireless probe, I have a possibility to detect iodine, to detect technetium, to detect the different isotopes I'm going to choose in the back of the Navigator. But with wireless probe, with the previous version at least, if it will be fixed in factory to technetium, I won't be able to use the regulator in the back of the Navigator to change to iodine.
In the back of the Navigator. I'm not
Steve,
sure I understand.
as I understand the question is like with the same probe and the same procedure, can you switch back and forth between technetium and other settings?
Yeah, I mean, there's no difference than the previous system and this system in terms of which isotopes are supported.
So in the previous system, there is no possibility. The probe, it's by and it became fixed to technetium. I only will be able to detect technetium with this probe, with the wireless.
Yes, it's not. If you're asking if it's dual windowed or dual isotopes,
yeah,
no, it's only one. For this version,
when wireless probe, it's only one window. It's not possible to use every window like in wireless probe. That's right?
that's correct. There's only one window for the Navigator 2.
But this is a big issue because usually customer, it's mostly technetium, but sometimes they want to use with iodine. And if they have a wireless probe, it's an important problem.
With a cabled probe, can you switch back and forth between different sources, Steve?
Sure.
No.
No? Okay.
With the wireless.
I mean, you switch the isotope switch and it switches one or the other, but it can't do like some systems can do dual windowing, but our system doesn't support that.
Okay.
No, but I don't know if I don't explaining well. The key is with our wireless probe, we are able to detect technetium. But if I want to detect one iodine, I change the control in the back of the equipment, and I will detect iodine. You know, that's right.
Yeah, so if you, let's say you're using a wireless system and you
This happens-
start
no,
the system,
In the previous system, the wireless system you have sent it previously, and I discussed that with Kevin in the past. In my wireless system previous, this is not possible. This is possible with wired, by sure, but not with wireless. And my
no, I
question
don't, I mean, that's, I can try to explain how it works on this system. Though, if you dynamically change the isotope by moving the switch on the back, it sends, the controller sends a message to the wireless probe and tells it to change isotopes, which changes some calibration settings, essentially. And then the probe and controller are in sync. So you can dynamically switch from one isotope to another, just like you would the wired system.
in wireless and in wireless, you are
Yeah.
telling me that's wrong. That's happening both probes, wireless or wireless. That's right?
Yeah, they kind of function the same. You can dynamically change the isotope selection on the controller, and
Also
wired or wireless probe should respond accordingly.
well, in the wireless probe that I have bought before this software change, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I don't know what happened before, but this system has been tested, so the messages are reliable. So it'll send a message, the controller will send a message to the probe, and the probe will acknowledge the message to switch isotopes.
Okay, don't continue with that. I will send to Kirk, maybe we'll copy to you an email with the different discussion before with Kevin about this problem. Maybe this problem has been solved with the new software, but I want to be sure because it will be an important problem.
Yes, send an email of the problem and we'll confirm it's been corrected.
That's right.
Another short question is it foreseen to send the manual user manual, sorry, in other languages to us, or is it not foreseen?
Yes, they have been, my understanding is they've been translated. So if you need a specific language, let Melissa know and our quality people can release it to you. And if what language are you?
German.
German? Yeah,
I
it
don't
should
know,
be.
if Melissa, has it been released yet? I think we've done the translation. I don't know if it's released.
The documents have not been released as of yet. I
Okay.
feel like there are a couple that are still pending just feedback for the translations. So I'm not sure if they have not released them as of yet, but I'll get
Okay.
with Josh and quality
Okay.
to see when that would be possible.
Okay. So we'll have to get back to you on the date of when we'll be releasing the German IFU, but we have translated one, and so there will be one available as soon as it's approved and released.
Okay, thank you.
All right. And any other questions?
Well, another question, maybe this is for Kirk, is about the price. I have seen when I send the probe or the electronic to repair, and you tell me about to upgrade the software, it costs about $750 each thing, the probe of the Navigator. It will be the standard price for reparation, or it will be an additional cost in new equipment also?
So, and Melissa, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe the official price is $750 for software upgrade to the control unit and $750 for the probe. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. It's $750 per device, excluding distributor demo equipment, which we do at a reduced cost.
Yeah. So that's a good point. So if it's like a demo unit that you're just using when you go in and show doctors or hospital staff, we've been upgrading those at no charge, but clinical units that the hospitals are using, it's $750 per device.
But and if the equipment is a new equipment, a new sale, the software, it's coming upgraded. It's not an extra cost, or yes?
Oh, for anything manufactured new, it's not that's manufactured with 2.6, it's not an extra cost. The price will be the same as it was. Yeah, but if you're sending an older software version back for upgrade, it's $750 per device.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
One other item in the user manual that we've discovered through a lot of the pilot testing is the recommendations from the electrosurgery equipment manufacturers. I don't know who's the prevalent electrocautery vendors in your regions, but in the US it's Covidien or Johnson & Johnson. But essentially the guidance is to keep a foot, 1 foot or 30 centimeters distance from the probe and the electrocautery instrument. Typically it's a pin. So what we've seen is the electrocautery equipment can cause some interference with the probe and can actually cause an electronic reset of the probe, which will make it lose its state. It'll think it's paired, and then it'll become unpaired, and the controller will alarm by design.
Steve, do we have to worry about it for the cable probe? Is that a consideration as well, or is it not a problem with cable probes?
Well, the cable probe, typically what we've seen is if people cross the cable with the electrocautery cable, then you can cause some interference that way. But that's not quite as prevalent as what we've seen with the wireless system. We've seen it.
You should still be careful, basically, and even with the cable probe in crossing with the electric. Okay.
Yeah, you have to. It's a training issue. Like all the electrocautery manufacturers have these warnings in their manuals. So it's, a lot of times people don't read the manual. So our kind of layman's guidance is to keep 1 foot or 30 centimeters separation from the electrocautery instruments and the probe.
Great, thank you. All right, any other questions?
Yes, can upgrade all Navigator 2.0 since from begin the old one, the first Navigator 2.0 are able to upgrade?
Yes, if it's a Navigator 2, then you can upgrade it. You have to send back, because they're not backwards compatible, the 2.60 or 2.56 software is not backwards compatible with the older system. So when you do the upgrade, you have to send both the probe and controllers in, because there's some rework that has to be done for the upgrade.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Well, we have Steve on the line.
Maybe you can tell us when you use an old GPS unit with a Wi-Fi reception system, what then if the probe is upgraded? It's very rare, this case of configuration, but it may happen.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Okay, the wireless probe you can use also with the old GPS unit if you use a Wi-Fi reception device.
the
you put on the
dongle.
cable.
Yeah, I don't think the dongle would have to be upgraded, but it hasn't been tested because we don't sell the old GPS system any longer. So
No, I know. No, it's just if somebody has this dongle.
Yeah, the dongle hasn't been tested
Okay.
so I can't really comment whether it works or not.
Yeah, and my understanding at this point is that we won't be testing the wireless receiver with the software upgrade since the GPS units have been obsoleted and we no longer support them.
Okay. So if there's no other questions, then I'll give you the screen back then.
All right. Thank you, Steve. I think it sounds like we're good.
All right. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Guys,
Bye.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care.
good day.